Imagine a life filled with promise, a future so bright it could rival the stars. Now, picture that life unraveling in ways so twisted it feels like a script from a Hollywood thriller. But this isn't fiction. This is the shocking, true story of Sharon Marshall, a young woman whose life took turns so bizarre, you'll question how it could ever be real. Buckle up, because this tale is about to take you on a roller coaster of secrets, lies, and unimaginable tragedy. Our first case is one that defies belief, a story so layered with twists, it feels like a labyrinth of tragedy. This isn't just a murder mystery, it's a web of heartbreak, betrayal, and secrets that will leave you stunned. At the center of it all is Sharon Marshall, a teenager who seemed destined for greatness. Sharon was the kind of girl who had it all: intelligence, ambition, and a heart full of dreams. A lieutenant colonel in her ROTC program and one of the top students in her class. She graduated from Forest Park High School in Georgia in 1986 with a full scholarship to the Georgia Institute of Technology. Her goal? To study aerospace engineering and work for NASA. But life had other plans. Plans so dark, they would shatter her future. Behind her bright smile, Sharon was hiding a life-altering secret. During her final months of high school, she became pregnant by her boyfriend, a fact she kept hidden from everyone, including him. After giving birth, she made the heartbreaking decision to let a wealthy couple from Texas adopt her baby boy. The pregnancy derailed her dreams, and instead of heading to college, Sharon found herself at a crossroads. Desperate for a fresh start, she moved to Tampa, Florida, with a man named Franklin Delano Floyd. But life with Frank was anything but stable. Sharon soon became pregnant again, this time by another man, and chose to keep the baby. In 1988, she gave birth to her son, Michael Gregory Marshall. Frank and Sharon's relationship was murky now. One could quite figure out if it was romantic or just a partnership of convenience. What was clear, though, was that their lives were spiraling into chaos. Frank, a painter by trade, struggled with chronic back pain, leaving him unable to work consistently. To make ends meet, Sharon became an exotic dancer, relying on welfare checks to survive. Despite the hardships, Sharon was known for her kindness and warmth, especially toward her coworkers. She formed a close bond with an 18-year-old dancer named Cheryl Comesso. But Frank and Cheryl didn't get along, and their frequent clashes would soon have devastating consequences. One weekend in 1989, Frank, Sharon, and Cheryl went on a boating trip that ended in disaster. A heated argument broke out between Frank and Cheryl. And shortly after, Cheryl reported Sharon to social services for underreporting her income. This act of betrayal cost Sharon her welfare benefits, and Frank was furious. In a fit of rage, he confronted Cheryl outside the club where she and Sharon worked, even punching her in the face. Not long after, Cheryl vanished. Her abandoned Corvette was found at the airport, and an investigation began. Frank and Sharon were immediately seen as persons of interest, but without evidence, the case went cold. The couple fled Tampa, changing their names and starting over in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There, Sharon continued dancing, making friends easily, while Frank's aggressive behavior alienated everyone around him. But Sharon's life was about to take another tragic turn. In 1990, she was found unconscious by a highway, the victim of a hit-and-run. Frank claimed he was asleep at the time, but as Sharon lay in the hospital, her friends grew suspicious. She seemed to be recovering, but Frank banned them from visiting her. 5 days later, Sharon died from her injuries. The doctor, noticing old bruises on her body, classified her death as a homicide, sparking rumors that Frank may have been involved. Frank's actions after Sharon's death only deepened the suspicions. He tried to claim an $80,000 life insurance policy he had taken out on her, but his use of aliases complicated the process. When he finally provided his real name, Franklin Delano Floyd, his dark past began to unravel. Frank had a criminal history that included abducting a 4-year-old girl, robbing a bank, and multiple arrests. He had been on the run for years, using fake names to evade the law. But the twists in this story were far from over. Frank's arrest brought more shocking revelations, including the discovery of skeletal remains in Florida that were later identified as Cheryl Camesso. And then there were the Photos 97 images found in a truck Frank had stolen, depicting a woman who had been beaten and bound. The woman in the photos was Cheryl. But there was something even more disturbing: older photos of Frank assaulting a young girl. This case was about to take an even darker turn, revealing secrets that would rewrite everything we thought we knew about Sharon Marshall. But that's just the beginning. Stay tuned, because the next chapter of this story will leave you speechless. Just when you thought this story couldn't get any more twisted, it does. What if the person you thought was your long-lost brother turned out to be a complete stranger? And what if your family's darkest secrets were hiding in plain sight? This is the jaw-dropping tale of Nicholas Barclay, a missing boy whose case took a turn so bizarre it left everyone questioning the truth. The Barclay family's nightmare began in 1994 when 13-year-old Nicholas vanished after a phone call to his brother, Jason. Nicholas, a troubled teen with a history of delinquency, was supposed to walk home after playing basketball, but never arrived. Most assumed he had run away, especially since he had a court hearing the next day that could have sent him to a rehab center. But as days turned into months, hope began to fade. Then, in 1997, a miracle, or so it seemed. The family received news that Nicholas had been found in Spain, alive after escaping a child trafficking ring. His sister Carrie flew to Spain to bring him home, but something was off. The boy who returned had dark hair and brown eyes, unlike Nicholas's blonde hair and blue eyes. He spoke with a heavy French accent and claimed his captors had performed experiments to alter his appearance. Despite these red flags, the Barclays welcomed him back with open arms. But the truth was far more shocking. The Nicholas who came home was actually Frédéric Bourdin, 23-year-old French con artist known as the Chameleon. Bourdin had a history of assuming false identities, and he saw the Barclays' desperation as an opportunity. He fed them a story so convincing that they ignored glaring inconsistencies even when authorities raised concerns. The family's willingness to accept Bourdin as Nicholas raised eyebrows. Why were they so quick to believe him? Bourdin himself later claimed that Carrie had coached him on family details, helping him pass the police's identification test. He even suggested the Barclays knew he wasn't Nicholas but played along to cover up something darker. The case took a sinister turn when investigators began to suspect foul play within the family. Jason, Nicholas's older brother, had made a strange phone call 3 months after the disappearance, claiming he heard Nicholas breaking into the garage. No evidence was found, and Jason's behavior raised questions. Was it an attempt to make it seem like Nicholas was still alive? Before investigators could dig deeper, Jason died of a drug overdose, leaving more questions than answers. To this day, Nicholas Barclay's true fate remains a mystery. Was he murdered? Did he run away and never return? The case inspired the Netflix documentary Asterisk, The Imposter Asterisk, which delves into the bizarre twists and turns of this haunting story. But one thing is clear: the Barclay family's secrets may never fully come to light. Stories like these remind us that truth is often stranger than fiction. From Sharon Marshall's tragic life to the unsolved mystery of Gregory Villman and the shocking deception in the Barclay case, these tales are a chilling reminder of how far people will go to hide the truth. They leave us questioning not just the facts, but the very nature of trust, identity, and justice. As we close this chapter, we're left with more questions than answers. What really happened to Nicholas Barclay? Who was behind the threats to the Villman family? And how many more secrets are buried in the shadows of these cases? These stories may never have tidy endings, but they compel us to keep searching for the truth. If you found this video as gripping as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most shocking true crime stories. Let us know in the comments which case left you the most stunned and what you think really happened. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.